back, everybody.
Hey,
Luke.
I'm here. You're here?
We're here in a sense that I'm here and you're there. We're not,
Yes.
our here is not the same place currently.
Our here is not the same, but we are both here.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're coming at you remotely. We're not at the studio, obviously. Our pre-COVID recording pool has run dry.
And we're respecting the
that's
ask,
exactly what I was going to say.
From government officials. You know,
we're volunteering.
We're voluntarily doing this. We live in Cookeville, Tennessee, and right now Curtis and I could go and have a hot dog and sit on each other's laps at the park.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird. But let's not do that. We don't do that normally.
No.
No, I'm just saying, like, we can hang out together if we wanted to, but we're choosing not to because we got to invest in that now. And we're going to talk about that in a little while, right?
Yeah. We're going to talk about a few things. We had an idea what we wanted to talk about, and then here we are sitting down, and there's a lot going on. And I feel like I wouldn't feel right not talking about, the mindset of where we are right now. I feel like there's a lot of fear. I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty, but I think at the heart of that, it's people maybe not reading up on what they should be, maybe not paying attention to the things they should be paying attention to, and rather allowing an easily misunderstood fear to drive what they're thinking. And I think that can turn us into people that we aren't. I think people are better than that. Yeah. And I think that's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah. And I think, it's obvious. We've talked, I'm involved in a Christian culture on a regular basis, given my job and position. And so I've found that I think there's more fear now than there was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I think that's strange.
When we were talking about it, we're at the point now where we're doing social distancing and we're seeing the benefits of it.
Yeah.
Like our hospitals are empty, and that is not because there was nothing to be afraid of. It's because what we did, the practices we put into place worked.
We responded correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And enough time to where we saw that number from Fauci going from the lowest estimates 200,000, and now they're saying 60,000. Like, what a great accomplishment that was for everybody. I mean, 60,000 is still 60,000. You would want that number to be zero. Yeah. But if we're tanking that number, like, is that not something to be happy for? Is that not something to celebrate, rather than let's rage against a scarecrow? Like we're putting our own scarecrow out there and allowing it to scare us. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And I know people are hurting right now still financially. Obviously, but the government has rolled out it seems like some good programs.
Yeah.
People are starting to get checks in the mail for the stimulus.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get yours yet?
Yeah. Yeah, it was near the end of the week. Yeah.
Nice.
Those two
Mine's
kids
direct deposit,
ended up paying off.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what
finally earned their keep.
Yeah, we always do tax returns with direct deposit, so luckily it just came straight into our account. So but I've heard of, like, a friend of mine had his deposited into someone else's account. Like, there's some issues going. Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're talking about another one coming out, and I think that a lot of these guys who were struggling, who fell through the cracks, like, we should be pushing our representatives to. We've got to take care of each other during this time. That's why we're distancing, is to take care of each other. Yep. And I think we can transition to that into something we wanted to talk about today, which was we're going to put our Christian hats on. You've got your hat. I don't have a hat right now, but I'm going to put the metaphorical hat on. Put our Christian hats on and talk about Matthew 25.
Yeah.
And just some background, like, this has been like the cornerstone of my faith since the message you gave. I'm going to shout out to The Door circa 2007, I think.
Yeah, probably 7. Yeah.
I remember this, and I think I repeated this sermon a few times, not verbatim, in different churches that I've been at. At the heart of it, and it's a big chapter, and we'll talk about the whole chapter, but we're talking specifically about the sheeps and the goats.
Yeah,
And
verse 31.
And if you guys don't know, like that's our little sheep, our little logo. That's what inspired that was.
Yeah, drawn by your wife.
Yeah, by my wife. And we want to, being a sheep is kind of a negative thing in today's world. Like, I don't know if wake up sheeple, those memes that go around, but in the sense of Matthew 25, it was, if we've got a great shepherd, like we want to be his sheep. And how does he determine, in this chapter, he's talking about separating the sheep from the goats and what defines a sheep versus a goat. And I don't know, like maybe we're jumping too quickly into this, but I'm going to spoil the ending, I guess, from what we're going to say is the sheep is someone who is looking out for the least among us. It's the person who, in everything that they do, they understand that I am not an island. I am connected to everybody in all things that I do. And if what I do is, if that negatively affects somebody, is it worth it for me to do that? And I think that is the heart of what Christ was preaching about. You mentioned before we started recording that this was the last message that he gave.
This is the last, this is Jesus's last recording, real, like full teaching. It's definitely the last parable he told. And so I think that has some weight to it. Like, these are the parting words. You know what I mean? This is the parting teaching. This is how you're going to live.
It's the big one.
You've been watching me. You've been seeing me, but understand what you've been seeing. This is what it's supposed to look like.
This is the heart of it. Yeah.
This is the heart of it. And like you said, that's kind of that verses 31 through 46 of chapter 25. It talks about, for I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. Naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to see me. And I think, when you look at those things, he goes on to say, they respond, when did we ever see like that? And he said, whenever you saw the least of these, or my brothers, whenever you saw my brothers in this position, that was me in that position. We're supposed to treat others like that. And I think that's where we get that teaching in the church, globally, the church of loving God and then loving other people. Our call to love other people comes from this idea that other people, they're representative of God's family or God's children.
They're from God.
They're from God, and they have intrinsic value because there's a creator that ordained them or brought them in. Right. And so like, that's where we get that global teaching. But I think a lot of times this passage, and I'm sure when I taught on it, I did this as well, but a lot of times this passage, people are looking at it and they're like, oh, so who I am in Jesus is only defined by what I do. And a lot of people like to jump on that and say, oh, but I thought, we were saved through faith. I thought we were saved through grace. I don't have to do anything now.
Right.
And I think Paul even addresses that and says, hey, just because you have this doesn't mean you get to keep going on sinning. It doesn't mean you get to doesn't mean you can like stock this in the cabinet, leave it there, be like, okay, now I'll just go do whatever I want to.
Right.
And that's the point of faith and what, a lot of times in Christian circles, we call it works. But the entwining of the two. And I'm sure when I spoke on this in 2007, I don't really remember, but I've talked about it a lot.
I remember. It was, well, I'll just, this is fun. So go back to it, and you were talking about it and saying, is it worth it for me to have $5 in my pocket if there is a person on the side of the road who hasn't eaten in 6 days? Or hasn't had water in the middle of August. And is it worth it for me to have 20 shirts in my closet when there are people who have nothing? And I know that sounds, I know there are words in our politics that people could, malign that with, but this is what Jesus is saying. And I feel like at some point we need to realize that if we're calling ourselves Christian, that we're not American first, we're not Chinese first, we're not Canadian, whatever. Like, we're from the kingdom of God, and we are pilgrims here. We're Paul calls it sojourners here, and like, this place is not for us. So we need to be representatives. We need to be ambassadors of that, like, selfless love. And that doesn't mean that you suffer. That doesn't mean that you live your life in rags. But it means that in this idea of America of excess, maybe we don't buy into it so much. Maybe we look weird and maybe we look odd and don't buy the newest car because another one works just as fine from 10 years ago. You know, like I drive a truck from 2004. It works really great. I can go really fast.
And maybe I have a little bit less so that another person can have something.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean? Like
a lot of people see that hurt and feel that, but don't see the reward. And I think that's just, you know, that's just our conditioning from like being told all the time that we've got to buy. I'll circle back to this article I read. It was saying like only 9% of Britons, when asked if they want to return to normal, they're like, I don't know, man, like things are kind of cool right now. Like once you jump off that treadmill for the rat race, you know, you kind of question what's the point of this? You know, like things are slowed down a little bit. I always see the memes about, I wish I could go back to the old days of, you know, porch swings and all this stuff. And we're in it right now. Yeah. And we're screaming about it. You know, I understand that the economy, all this stuff, like, and if you're hurting, like my heart goes out to you. I'm trying every way I can to read up on that and be more informed and find the people who are hurting and speak up for them. But for everyone who is like working from home, that's, you know, everything's slowed down a little bit, like everything's. Well,
and you know, my mom actually,
everything is so bad.
My mom posted something on Facebook today, actually. And when I was looking at it, it was, it struck me interesting because like, the idea is that we're all going through the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat.
Right. We don't always have the size umbrella.
And I think that's the thing. Like you and I are talking about, hey, you know, getting back to simple's not that bad. This is a good place to be. But for some people, they are hurting. They're both taking water.
Well, and that's,
you know
like,
what I mean?
I will admit, like, I'm on the back line of this battle, this fight we're having with the virus. There are people at the front line saying, you guys need to stay home, you know? And if that's the least among us right now, if they're the ones saying, hey, you know, this is working. The hospitals are empty. Like, that's the whole point. I want to go back to Matthew 25. At the beginning, it's talking about the parable of the 10 young bridesmaids. Yeah. And so it's 1 through 13. And if you want to read it at home, you can. But it basically boils down to they were told to have enough oil to light the lamps so that their husbands could find them. And so 5 of them didn't have enough and the other 5 did. And the 5 that didn't said, hey, you know, share some with us. And they're saying, if we do that, then none of us are going to make it. You know what I mean? Yep. And this isn't this is when the bill comes due and the people who did not prepare, they had the same opportunities as the other 5. They didn't put the work in. They didn't put the work in their relationship with God. That's how it's going to translate. They did not take the advice from experts, and they didn't put the work in. And now the bill's due, and they can't pay it. So the other 5 had the resources available. Yeah, and they were married. You know, so this is biblical times. Women, you're more valuable than just being a wife in today's
absolutely.
world.
Yeah.
But let's translate that into like today. Like we're doing the work right now in social distancing, and our hospitals are empty. And that doesn't mean that this was all overblown. It means that we did the right thing.
We did the right thing. Yeah. No, it's
paying
working.
off. The bill has come due, and we invested properly. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think one of the things, like this parable, you know, before the talking about sheep and goats, this parable is talking about personal responsibility. Mm-hmm. But
that goes back to your like faith versus works. I think they're hand in hand.
Well, yeah, but I think a lot of times people will isolate this parable and talk about personal responsibility and almost like, well, they didn't do what they were supposed to, so that's why but that's not what it's saying. It's actually saying
that's what I was trying
responsibility,
to add in
the
there.
Responsibility is found in the sheep and goats parable. That's your responsibility is to look out for the least of us. The people with all the oil in their lamp, the lady with the oil in their lamp,
they were the ones
looking out for other people. That's what is the oil. The people that didn't have oil were the people that weren't caring about other people's situations.
No, yeah, they were the ones living in the moment, doing
Yep.
what suited them, looking
Yep.
at their circumstances and crying about it rather than growing inside of those circumstances.
Yep.
Yep. And man, I don't know. It's just like, I hate seeing this right now, you know, and I understand I'm very privileged in this situation. You know, I'm still earning a check. I'm working from home. I get to be with my family. I get to isolate with them. Like you said before, not everyone is in that boat. There are people who have to go to work. They can't afford not to go to work, or they're in a
helping
job.
Out those boats. But the thing is, we're patching those boats.
Yeah.
And you know, like the government stimulus check that came out, that's going to help patch some boats. Not all of them. No. It's going to help patch them.
Yeah.
The rollout of unemployment, jumping unemployment numbers, I think that's going to patch some boats. I think it is a tell of, apparently we don't pay people money, so we have to increase this.
Yeah, well, it's like, we're going to say they're essential, but like the same people we were raging against, you know, as little as 18 months ago, we were saying, or 6 months ago, we were saying, get a real job. You know, if you don't like making $7.15 an hour, get a real job. Now all of a sudden, thank you for what you're doing. We're thanking them like we would, you know, people on the front line of any battle, you know, and I'm going to tell you that that's what you deserve. No, like and I said this last episode, but I hope that we all wake up and realize that our old normal was not very good for most people, for the least among us. We were really just like, I don't know, maybe we didn't see it.
We have the opportunity to build a new normal that's more loving.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And is more inclusive and is more, and we're not talking about like, you know, just free handouts for everything, but like valuing people. If I in this crisis see the value in this person, I cannot go back to normal and tell you, like, can you imagine after the vaccine comes and 24 months from now, telling a grocery store worker, hey, go get a real job if you don't want $7.15 an hour, you know, that just seems stupid.
Yeah.
So I hope that like, we just don't like fall into that and we become better. Like we better ourselves. We look at this, and maybe you're not Christian, but I think that you can, I don't know if I have went through times in my life where, you know, I'm not in the church, I'm in it. Like, I don't know what I believe, but at every stage of my life, I can look at Matthew 25 and the parable about the sheep and the goats and know this is the best way, you know, as an agnostic, as an atheist, whatever, if you're in that boat, you can look at that ideal in the last parable that Jesus gave and say, yeah, obviously maybe I don't believe in Jesus, but if I modeled myself after him, the world would be a better place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think too, when I share that message, I don't know about the time that we were at the door, but like a lot of times I get that pushback of, well, no, salvation's through grace, you know what I mean? All that stuff.
Right.
And I always use the illustration, and now 13 years later, it doesn't hold up as good because we have too many electric cars. Yeah. But a combustible engine, you know, you put gasoline in and it turns over and starts running. But the evidence of that is the exhaust coming out the back. If there's no exhaust coming out the back, the engine's probably not running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they work together. It's not, the exhaust doesn't have to come out to make the engine run.
Right.
But if the engine is running, the exhaust will come out.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, that if you are a person of faith, a Christian, in this time, we've got to be asking ourselves, is the exhaust coming out now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is my engine actually running? Because people are hurting right now, you know, struggling through tough times. Are you caring about people? Are you doing what's best for your neighbor? Are you choosing to prefer them now? Are you taking Philippians chapter 2? Are you taking it seriously now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that'll be the exhaust and the evidence. And I hope in my life that I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm taking stock of, what am I doing to help people out in this time? You know, what kind of role can I have given my position? You know, if you've got 7 kids, elderly parents that live with you, don't leave your house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're a young single dude, you know what I mean, and you're 20 years old and you're in an apartment by yourself, man, sign up for Instacart and deliver some groceries for crying out loud. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I mean, you can jump in. It can even be profitable for you.
Yeah.
You can jump in wherever you are in this and say, hey, I'm gonna take these next few weeks and I'm going to put myself out there where other people can't, so that I can care for them. And I think it's simple things like that we can do.
And I'm just going to weave in some stuff. Like I think in our system right now, I hate that it made sense for some people to go and buy like 40 packs of toilet paper because they knew I can go sell this on Amazon. I hate that was possible for them. And I think that is a very real like issue of the system that we need to address. I don't know if you saw this, but it made me so happy. There was this guy from Australia, I believe, and Amazon blocked his account because he was obviously price gouging. He had bought like 50 to 100 packs of 32 toilet paper rolls.
Yeah.
Amazon blocked his account. He could not sell them. So he took them back to the store and was like, I'd like to return these. And the GM there just gave him the finger and said, no, you're stuck with it, buddy. Go hand them out to a homeless shelter if you can't store them, you know.
I'm sure you can find a place to give those
away. Food bank. Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, I think that's what's needed in this time is to just call out the vultures and realize that our system allows the vultures and to amend that. Like you're talking about the wolf blowing the house down. Our house has been blown down. Yeah. Are we going to build it back the same way it was? Or are we going to say, hey, if a wolf could blow down our house, maybe it's not the best house.
Maybe we didn't design this correctly.
Maybe we can make some improvements in this. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Now, I will say that there's a group of people out there right now that truly believe that their freedoms are being taken away because we're quarantining. And actually, I think my favorite read was, quarantine is what people do to keep themselves from getting sick. Mm-hmm. And being forced to stay at home is what tyranny looks like. Mm-hmm. And so, and you know, is that like quarantine is something you do self, like you choose that? Yeah.
Which is what is in place right now.
Which is what's in place, especially here in Tennessee. Now you get reports like, you know, you get all there's
like out of New York, but like New York, that's where the bill has come due and they weren't ready.
Yeah, so they weren't ready.
The practice up there is like we're United States, and we talked about this last week. We're basically 50 little countries all pulled together. You know what I mean? So what's happening in New York is not what Governor Lee has made us do here. So the people here crying about, you know, tyranny or authoritarian, like if you think this is tyranny, you should count your blessings. Like you don't know what tyranny is. Let me give you some history books and let me show you exactly what tyranny looks like. Yeah. Because the fact that you haven't been able to go to church in the last 2 weeks. Again, that was the decision of the churches. Like nobody is making them do this. You can, you look at the letter that came out from the Putnam County school system and they said, we are choosing to do this based on the recommendation of the governor. And
no funding's being cut either way. No, money is flowing exactly the same as it normally would from Fed and state. Yeah. We're choosing not to.
We are doing this because we believe, because we have access to primary sources that say this is the best path forward. It's going to hurt a little bit, but I would rather hurt a little bit now than hurt really badly 6 weeks from now. Yeah. When we just allow this fire to go through and burn up everything
but this is the thing. There is freedom. I think it's smart to social distance right now. Yeah. At least for these 2 more weeks, but maybe longer. We'll see what science tells us. But we'll see. You know what I mean? Like we'll see how this is.
So you're not going to base this on opinions that you have? No. Did you read some Facebook articles and come to this conclusion?
No, just scientific data.
Did Dr. Phil tell you what to think on this?
But I think, you know, we're going to do that. But this is the thing. We're choosing to do that. Mm-hmm. And you know what? You are in America. And if you work a job that's an essential service and you feel like you're being forced to be somewhere that's not safe right now, you live in America and you're allowed to quit your job. Yeah. Like that's the thing. And when somebody says, well, I have to go to work. No, You want to have money and pay for your house and take care of your kids.
Given
So you choose
a government
to
job. Yeah, you were not told to. There's nobody waking you up to get you there on time. And if you miss, your deadline, you're thrown in jail. No, we've got complete freedom here.
You don't have to go.
And that's what I mean. Like, if you're calling this tyranny, you do not know what the word means.
No,
I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you don't.
And on the flip side of that, if you're at home and you're like, man, my kids are at home. Maybe you've got private school kids, or you've got something like that. Or even the Putnam County School District, you can contact them and voice your complaint.
Yeah.
I think we should be back in school. I think you should reconsider this. You need to write those letters. You need to have those conversations. If you're a business owner, you don't like the fact that your doors are closed, go open them.
Yeah. See what happens?
That's fine. Go open them.
But you're going to face like these guys, and I've got to commend them. Like a lot of these guys, like local restaurants, we don't go out to eat a lot before, but like knowing what's happening right now, like we'll order out a couple nights a week just to keep it going. I mean, like, again, I'm in this place of privilege. Let me do what I can.
Yeah.
To keep the system running.
You've got some money you can spend, and we've been doing the same thing. So I've been doing. I'm a big Father Tom's fan.
Yeah. Are they doing takeout?
Yeah. You can call it in, and so they're doing their wings. They brought their wings back.
That's awesome.
And they're amazing. So, but no, you can call it in. You pick it up like 15 minutes later. They're not delivering.
Yeah.
But you can drive up to it, and they'll actually bring it out to you, or you can go in.
We did that on Friday. We went and ordered out at Big Tony's, and I ordered their calzone for the first time, and it's the best calzone I've ever had. I'm a big calzone guy, and you can put whatever you want in it. I was like, this is so good. I have discovered how to better my life from this experience, from this terrible place. You know what I mean?
But see, these guys are running their kitchens, and this is, I consider myself a little bit of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so when I look at this, I'm like, as a business owner, they've laid off a lot of their restaurant work. And those laid off workers have a chance to file for unemployment. Mm-hmm. And although it's delayed right now because it's a little bit overrun, it'll be back paid to them.
And also, but like stopping there, like I think we should rage against that like in times of this trouble, we do not have the infrastructure to take care of our people.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I don't know what you call it, but in times of great like prosperity, we can see those channels and funding that infrastructure as a waste of money. But the bill has come due and we have not been able to pay it because we did not keep those infrastructures in place. So I think the people who are suffering at that have a right to be angry. That what do you mean? I don't have enough, the phone lines are busy. I can't talk to somebody to get employment. I'm unemployed. There's what's the number up to now? I think it's close to 20 million, 30 million, something like that. They're unemployed. It's like 10% of the workforce.
Yeah.
And we don't have the infrastructure to take care of 10% of our population. That should make us angry more so than being asked to stay at home and crying about tyranny. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure. No, the response to it, the services we have available are not enough.
No.
And they're doing their best. And I think they're going to be able to do.
Don't yell at the person at the unemployment office. They're doing their job. They're doing the best. Scream at the people who are budgeting it. Yeah.
If you take that restaurant owner, they've laid off their workers, which allows them to go to unemployment and if they didn't lay them off, if they didn't lay off the server and they stayed open and nobody's coming, people aren't getting tips, they aren't getting hours. Yeah. So the better thing for that business owner to do is to lay them off, let them go to the services that we have available. And then that owner can keep his kitchen staff on and a server out there feeding drive-up orders. He can probably, I'm not saying this is going to be the most profitable time of business for him.
No.
But he's going to be able to keep it afloat.
But you know what again, I mean?
He's going to be able to tread water. And when you're treading water, you're not drowning.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah. Whew, sorry, that was a little bit of a rant.
No, I mean, it's time to rant. It's time to be upset. It's time to, let's dissect. The animal is dead currently. Yeah. Let's dissect it, see what did not work, and bring it back to life. Because the economy, like I said last week, we can bring the economy back to life. We've done it multiple times. We can't bring people back. So if we've got to kill something, I'm going to choose that one every time, rather than, let's go back. I was listening to some interview from some media hack, and he was talking about, 2% is what we're looking at, 2 or 3%. If we open schools back up, 2 or 3% deaths is what it's going to look like. when you factor in 300 million people, 2 and 3% seem
it's a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we're going to say that's good enough, like, I don't get that. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm missing, but I just don't get that.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, I'll say this too. I think the government has stepped up, and I'm generally not a fan of government
I know you're
programs
not. Yeah.
at all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm normally a hater, but I think they've stepped up in the right forms in this. Like, I think they're making the right decisions.
Yeah.
And I think
local guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For sure. Local guys. But even, Donald Trump, he was famous this week. He told the World Health Organization they could jump off a cliff or something.
Yeah.
And just decided to cancel all future payments to them.
Yeah.
Which I think is funny. I don't know what's going on there. I'm not a conspiracy guy, so I don't know. Maybe there is something.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that we're trying to figure out, well, how are they going to pay for this $2 trillion? Well, he found $385 billion.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
From the WHO. Yeah.
So he's already found a quarter of it. So he's on his way.
Yeah, I haven't dug into that enough to like comment on it. But I would say, like, I've seen them. I know I watched them, like, when they were speaking with Taiwan. And Taiwan, if you know anything about them versus China, like, they're trying to be independent, and China, like, will burn any bridge with somebody who recognizes Taiwan as an independent state. And, like, that was a failing with them. So I know, like, on both, I don't know, I hate to be the both sides guy, but, like, there's issues here.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see how that decision plays out. You know what I mean? But I do think we're going to see some issues. I did see where, like, Hyundai and a few other, like, steel and aluminum manufacturers are switching their plants from China to India. And a lot of people are saying, like, yeah, that's the hit you're going to take. You know, you deserve that. But I think they're missing the point that China's economy they were in an industrial age just as we were, you know, back in when the steam engine was built. And they're elevating past that. You know, they don't need those factories anymore in the sense that they did 20 years ago. India is in the place where they need those factories, and they've got the population, and they've got the government that can pay 10 cents an hour. So it's cheaper for those companies to go there.
Yeah.
I'm more of the mind to start screaming at these companies and saying, why are you not bringing more jobs over here? Like, we've got people who need to work. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the, like, the house is being blown down and we're building it back up, but we're building it in the same way that it was before. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're just going to relocate it to another country that is
different color paint, but the walls are still made of hay.
Exactly. So, we're going to move it to another country that is in a third world status, and we're going to have the same problems in 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're going to create another country to worry about. But anyways, I mean, that was us ranting a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel it all connects.
This one was a little bit of a rant. It does all connect. And you know, and again, I mean, when we talked about doing this, because I even said my studio is still filming things.
Yeah.
You know, creative. We still film things there. We're not. Yeah, we're not completely closed or anything. You know,
we're just like making a statement.
but also like, I'm out and about, doing work for the church. I'm going to people's homes and shooting things. I am mobile, and I am definitely. I am not keeping to a strict mandate of stay at home. I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
But I know I have respect for you, and I know that you guys are. I mean, this is like, you know, you're definitely doing that with your family, and I don't want to put you guys at risk.
No,
when I reached out to you, I was like, do you want to do studio? Yeah. Come to my house? Can I come to you? You know, and I think this was we can do it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're still going to post this, you know, like we're still, and like me and you, we had talked about, you know, last episode, we talked about bringing in more people, like a guest here and there. And we decided this week was not the week to do it, because part of our goal with this whole podcast, like, I don't need this, you don't need this.
Yeah.
You're doing this because it's good practice. I'm doing it because I get good practice in the social media thing. And also it's fun to talk to you, you know, we don't have our Father Tom meetings. So this is, I need this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we have a connection already.
Exactly.
We were talking about bringing on a guest.
Yeah. But like, our whole goal is to have a conversation. I think if we're shutting people out or blocking people out, we're not. I think a great measure of a person is their ability to have access to new information that contradicts what they believe.
Yeah.
processing that and then changing their minds on something. I do that regularly, and it hurts to be like told you're wrong. Like
it does. I hate it when I find out I'm wrong.
I hate it. And the best thing that I ever learned was to stop taking that as an insult and blocking that out and accepting it, looking through what I thought was true, comparing it with the other thing. Maybe that other thing is wrong. Maybe this is right. I don't know, but I do know that I'm not like infallible. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we need to learn in this, because I see a lot of, no, I know that I'm right, but all the experts are saying this. No, I'm right. Well, based on what? Just, I know because I know, I think that's the most dangerous thing we can say and believe right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm glad that we're still getting to do this and talk and Zoom does that. And I hope that everybody else, your normal activities, I hope you're pivoting to either saying, hey, that wasn't a good thing for me to have in my life anyway. Or, hey, there's another way I can fill that need, or I can meet that need. And so I hope people are doing that. But I think we're wrapping up.
I think so. And I mean, it's the best thing is to not like live in fear. No one's asking anyone to live in fear. No, I think fear is coming from not accessing the primary sources that are available to you. Not believing someone else's word for it. Like
don't live in fear, and no one's taking your freedom. You have freedom
exactly.
To be you
well, I think that's what I'm referencing in the fear is like that's based on misinformation. Like the real truth is out there, and this is not the end of the world. This is not doomsday. No one's taking your freedoms. We've had a lot more freedom stripped from us, like after 2001, after 9/11, than we have currently.
Patriot Act.
Yeah, exactly. Like NSA is they've got terabytes on terabytes of information. That's not happening right now. Like we're being asked to stay home, and we're consenting to it. That's a freedom, and you can say no. And if you have an issue with a restaurant not opening their doors and having their lobby open, go open a restaurant. There's plenty of office space available right now that you are able to do that, and it's available cheaply. So go sign the lease and open yours up.
Go open your own restaurant.
But according to the experts, you're putting people's lives at risk. And I think that the people who were here before this take that into consideration, and I've just got to respect and commend them, especially in our community. Like this is not demanded of you. It's being requested, and the whole community is like coming together and saying, if this is for the best, if this is for the least among us, if it's 2% is low, but the 2% is the least among us. And it could very well be, your grandmother or your child or your, whoever. And I've got to think of them as I would strangers, as I would myself. I've got to make every decision that I do. How does it affect me? How would it affect Jesus?
Exactly. The least among us.
Exactly.
Is how you act towards Jesus.
Yeah, and exactly.
And we need to be thinking about that.
Yeah.
Man, Curt, thanks for having this conversation with me and us finding a way to do it still with Zoom.
We did it.
And we've got a couple weeks. We'll do it again like this if
we'll
that's
see
what it takes. So
our backlog, and I think it's better for us to do, week by week. And this is low effort. This is easy to do. Luke does a lot of work on the editing side, but like
it's fine. It'll come together. I don't mind. I like it. So.
Appreciate it. To the people listening, let us know what you think. I don't know. Like we're all in this together, and I hear that so much on every commercial where it's like we're all in this together. Please buy our stuff. Like we really are, and we're two regular dudes. We're not here trying to sell you anything. Like we're just here to facilitate a conversation, and we want to.
Curtis has not allowed me to print T-shirts yet.
Yeah.
So we're not selling you anything yet. I'm working on them though.
Well, I'm not going to tell you the world's ending and have a doomsday prep kit for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my.
It's just a 5-gallon bucket of slop. Trust me, this is what you want.
Here's 5 gallons of ramen.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, tell us what you think. We're going to be posting on Instagram, on YouTube. What are we wrong about? What do you want to talk about? What do you see?
What did we miss? We could have missed something. So.
Yeah. Again, we're not infallible. We want to hear from you guys.
Yep.
But appreciate the talk, Luke. Everybody, join in on it.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. See you.